Ready, they are ready to lock it up, and there it is. Paul London, Bryce Harrison, looking for the handshake.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Is he calling him a zero?
Well, look at that. What is that? He offered his hand to shake. Bryce Harrison extended his hand for a handshake. Paul London pulled the hand back and kicked him.
Something you would do.
I would never do. First of all, I would never offer my hand to shake the guy's hand. I don't shake the guy's hand before the match. What the hell is that shaking guy? That's what they do in Ring of Honor. You shake the guy's hand as if it's...
Look at Bryce Harrison trying to return the favor. They have met about 6 months ago here in FSW.
Who won that match?
Paul London walked away with the
Come
victory.
on. No, he didn't. You sure you got that result?
That is right. A shooting star press put away
Bryce
Paul
Harrison
London in a very exciting match.
Paul London pulled the hand
And now that the No Limits division and the Elite division is
we
heating
never
up,
offer my hand to shake
Paul
the guy's
London
hand. Shake the guy's
and Bryce Harrison, this is a match that can, a victory here can give him a title shot. And
okay. Are you sure about that?
well, Bryce Harrison, he's had his title shots, and now he's got to go back out and prove himself.
Why should he?
And a victory over a guy of Paul London's stature is the first step in maybe getting an opportunity at a Jack Manley or another rematch with Remy Marcel.
Joe, it's pretty funny. I saw your posts on Facebook last week where you saw some of the sites that were accepting wagers on WrestleMania.
Yes.
Right? And I saw you bet a lot of money on Punk at plus 700.
I did not, but I was leaning toward making a big wager on Mark Henry. He was a big plus.
Were you really?
Yes.
That's interesting. But you didn't you? Took
I did
Ryback.
not.
And you took Ryback.
No, I didn't make any bets.
How much did you lose on WrestleMania? WrestleMania is probably the easiest sporting event to get the results from. Joe, it's pretty funny. I saw your posts on Facebook. How many did you get? What was your record?
I'll admit I would have bet Swagger.
You would have bet Swagger. WrestleMania. Okay. And I saw you bet a lot of money on Punk, even though he got plus 700.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so.
Thought he was going to walk away.
Well, so how much did you lose?
And then lose it to Dolph Ziggler, but that didn't happen.
How much did it cost you? Well, what did we WrestleMania running that? What was usually about $400 probably?
Oh, something like that. But I'm getting it all back in baseball, my friend. Don't worry about it. You need some picks from me after the show, I'll let you in on some good
I just think it's funny that you were on Facebook talking about that the CM Punk is the best bet of WrestleMania.
That is incorrect.
Well, of course Ziggler lost. Like the Undertaker's going to lose at 20-0 he's going to lose.
Oh, and look at that. What a shoulder takedown by Paul London as Bryce Harrison just gets slammed to the floor.
Ooh, big slam, too.
And he is getting out of dodge. Bryce Harrison needs to rethink his strategy. And he spits over at Scratch.
Yeah, good. He deserves it.
His former manager.
Yeah, well, Scratch is kind of like a jerk to his ears to Bryce Harrison. Bryce Harrison is a stand-up guy. And Scratch with a page. He deserves to be scared. What is the guy's purpose out here, Joe?
He is a manager. What do you mean with his purpose? His purpose is to manage.
Why are you going to put him on TV? I mean, why is he allowed at ringside?
Because he has a manager's license.
You're allowed to be at ringside?
That is correct. He is a licensed FSW manager. And Paul London has gotten a liking to him. Whenever he comes into town and he needs certain things, Scratch with the K is there for him.
Interesting you bring that up.
Oh, just some minor necessities that Paul London may need.
Really? Interesting.
Toiletries, things like that.
Okay. Interesting. I have to investigate this, Joe. Right?
Oh, and look at that. Paul London, he stuck his back up in a nice drop kick. And Bryce Harrison has got no answer for Paul London as we started off here this evening.
That's all right. Bryce Harrison's a guy that has proven in the past, that ever since he got rid of Scratch, he handles adversity a lot better in a match. Like, he can take a beating, he doesn't have to worry about listening to that schmuck Scratch shouting ridiculous, incorrect instructions, during the match at him. He's his own guy right now. He's only got one person to blame right out here tonight, and that's himself, because Heather Lynn is not at ringside now.
Yes, conspicuous by her absence. And, speaking of Bryce Harrison, he's a guy that not only has he faced Paul London before, he has faced some of the best that FSW has brought into the business.
Absolutely.
Former TNA heavyweight champion, as well as the current tag team champion, Austin Aries.
Yes.
And Bryce Harrison, unfortunately, came up a little short.
Austin Aries wrestled here?
Yes, he did.
Did he really?
2 months before he got re-signed by TNA.
Interesting.
And he put on a clinic, and Bryce Harrison hung with him.
What do you mean by when you say put on a clinic? Bryce Harrison was completely outmatched against him?
No, what I'm saying is we saw how great Austin Aries is. Okay. And Bryce Harrison hung pretty well, but in the end, Austin Aries was able to finish him off. But since that time, Bryce Harrison has become a much better wrestler.
Yes, he has.
And
well, I don't know that because I didn't see the match.
Check it out on the YouTube.
Jackson. See, now this is good. I like it. Bryce is elected to use this time to go through the crowd, go to the concession stand, which is his right because, hey, one good turn deserves another. Paul London did it. Why can't he, right?
Oh, and look at this.
Yeah, there we go.
Bryce Harrison just kicked Scratch with a K.
There we go.
And he whips him into the guardrail.
Good
what is
move.
He doing?
Well, but obviously he was sick and tired of Scratch being out the ringside interfering in his match.
And look at that. Paul London is checking out everything to make sure he is okay.
Well, if he wants to be at ringside, he wants to interfere, he's got to know what's coming to him. Right? Would you agree with that? Is it, if he wants to blend himself and be in harm's way, sometimes he might find some harm. Do you agree with that?
Without a doubt, but there was nothing that Scratch did right there that
yes,
deserved or warranted.
Yes, he did.
And look at that body slam on the metal ramp.
Now, what did Bryce do to warrant that?
He attacked his manager. He's outside. Paul London is taking care of business.
You know how frustrating it is to do commentary with a guy like you that just sees things from such a
you're the one with the blinders on.
What are you talking about? You're the one with the blinders on.
All you see is
It's
Scratch.
what I see.
Because you see
Scratch.
Scratch. If they did that to Heather Lynn, you'd be outraged. And look at that move by Bryce Harrison.
Of course, she's a woman, Joe. Wouldn't you be outraged if one of the wrestlers, the competitors, assaulted a woman at ringside?
She's a manager. If she's out there, you just stated, if she's
the
manager's out there, they're going to get in harm's way.
Cards and letters from the women's groups about schmucks like you promoting violence against women. All right.
I'm saying neither one's is correct. Backbreaker.
There we go. Good to see Bryce turn this match around. Atta boy.
1, 2. First pinfall attempt in this match.
Yes.
And one thing I've noticed as I've been watching Bryce Harrison as he's evolved in the past few months, that the confidence level is skyrocketed.
Because he's better. How confident can you be when you're marching out there with Scratch and you got an embarrassment for a manager and the biggest imbecile in the history of wrestling walk you to ringside? Of course your confidence is not going to be high. It's going to be probably at an all-time low.
Well, I'm talking.
Now let me finish. Now he's gotten rid of Scratch, so now he's got to feel pretty good about himself.
I'm even talking about with Heather Lynn, like the first time he wrestled Paul London. When he looked across the ring, nice butterfly suplex by Bryce Harrison. When he first wrestled Paul London the first time, you could see, even with Austin Aries, it was almost like being in awe of his opponent.
What?
And right now, when I look at Bryce Harrison and Paul London, I don't see the former WWE Tag Team Champion, a current superstar all over the world. I watch Bryce Harrison and Paul London, and I'm watching almost two equals right now.
He's out there alone, and this guy's got Scratch in his corner. So I'm picking the guy that doesn't have Scratch in his corner. That's what I'm seeing right now. One guy that's smart enough to know that if you've got Scratch in your corner, you're not going to be very competitive. You're not going to be a good competitor. You're going to stink.
Well, Bryce Harrison, like I said, regardless of wins or losses, this is a big match for him. Probably, as we said, one of the biggest superstars he's ever wrestled. And he needs a victory. He needs to walk out of here with a win. If he doesn't, well then, people are going to say he can't win the big one. He didn't beat Randy Marcel. He couldn't get the title. He couldn't beat Austin Aries. He couldn't beat Paul London if he loses again. And he's got him up and down he goes. Bryce Harrison. And they are both down, but obviously Bryce Harrison taking the brunt of that as Paul London fought off. It looked like Bryce Harrison trying to submit Paul London. And the referee is counting.
It looks like Scratch is handing him a foreign object. Scratch is reaching for something to hand him a foreign object. Did you see that, Joe?
I missed it. I think he was just shouting out words of encouragement to his protege right there, Paul London, who puts the boots back to Bryce Harrison.
How that can help is beyond me. There we go. Attaboy, Bryce. Boom. There we go.
And they are going back and forth exchanges.
Boom. There we go.
Big chop by Bryce Harrison.
Oh, wow. Kind of hit him in the throat illegally there.
And Paul London returns the favor. The whip it to the rope. Huge body.
Ouch.
Back body drop. And Bryce Harrison going to have to figure. Oh, nice drop kick. It was a drop kick to the side of the head of Bryce Harrison.
Get Scratch out of there, referee. That's too close. Come on.
He's allowed to be there, Disco. All he's doing is talking.
Not allowed to interfere.
And the crowd, they are feverishly behind Paul London in this matchup.
I agree with that.
Big whip into the rope by Bryce Harrison, but the back elbow greets him.
Ouch.
Oh, and look at that spinning heel kick. Almost knocks off the head of Bryce. This could be it. 1, 2, 3. And Bryce Harrison, he is just able to kick out. And Paul London cannot believe it. He nailed him square on the jaw.
Attaboy, Bryce. There we go. He turned it right around.
Speaking of jaws, a jawbreaker by Bryce Harrison.
Ouch.
The drop kick, the drop salt as he calls it. 1, 2.
Oh, my God. I can't be kicked out.
And once again, Paul London. There is still some fight left in Bryce Harrison, as he is out to prove that he is the upper echelon in the No Limits and Elite division.
Ouch.
Face first, this has got to be it.
Come on, Bryce, kick out.
London for the cover. 1, 2, 3.
What great intestinal fortitude by Bryce Harrison.
Once again, cannot believe it. Bryce Harrison is able to kick out as Paul London, ready to go to the top rope, kind of leaped over him.
Whoa, look at that move by Bryce.
Looked like he was going for the double stomp, but for some reason,
he's jumped right over him. See, tried a high-risk maneuver, he didn't land it correctly. You overshot him, Joe. That's what they call it, high risk.
And that cost Paul London as Bryce Harrison is going up top, looking to finish him off with the headbutt, but no.
Oh, what a move.
But he catches him.
Oh.
And once again, Paul London is there, and Bryce Harrison just can't finish him off. And now London is calling for the shooting star press, the best one in the business, even over your boy Kidman, but Bryce Harrison is able to get up before he can attempt it.
I disagree with that.
And now Bryce Harrison, he is up top.
What's he going to do?
And these guys are fighting back. And London's able to shove him off. And he is
unbelievable, the action here.
He is on the second rope. And Bryce Harrison, the cover. And look at this, Bryce, he's holding the ropes. 1, 2, 3.
What a move! What a move by Bryce Harrison!